It was 11:47 on a Tuesday night in Akron, Ohio, and Renata Osei was sitting on the floor of her bathroom, the only room in her apartment with a lock, spreadsheet open on her phone, calculator in her lap, and a cold cup of tea she'd forgotten to drink sitting on the edge of the tub. She had just added up her debt for the 6th time that month, hoping somehow the number would change. It didn't. $127,340. That was the weight she was carrying. And she was making $16 an hour folding clothes at a department store. Renata was 31 years old when that bathroom floor moment happened. She hadn't always been there. A few years earlier, she'd been a full-time college student with what felt like a plan. She enrolled at a mid-size university in Cleveland at 22, changed her major twice, and finished a degree in communications at 25. She wasn't reckless. She wasn't irresponsible. She was just young, optimistic, and deeply underestimated how fast the numbers compound when you're not paying attention. By graduation, she had $61,000 in federal and private student loans. That was manageable, or so she told herself. What wasn't manageable was what came next. She took a job at a small marketing agency, making $34,000 a year. 40 minutes into her first commute, her car needed a transmission. $3,100 she didn't have went onto a credit card. Then her mother fell ill in Columbus, and Renata drove down every other weekend for 8 months. Gas, hotel stays, a second credit card. Then the agency folded. She was unemployed for 4.5 months. She paid rent on a third card. She ordered groceries on the first one. She made minimum payments when she could and skipped them when she couldn't. By the time she landed the retail position at the department store, a job she took in desperation, not design, she had $127,340 in debt spread across 3 credit cards and 2 student loan servicers. The store paid her $16 an hour, 40 hours a week. No benefits, no bonus, just time on her feet and a drawer full of bills she couldn't face. The first year at the store was survival mode with a smile on. Renata had mastered the art of looking fine. She wore clean clothes. She got a discount on those, at least. She laughed at the right moments. She brought a packed lunch every single day because she had calculated that buying even a $5 sandwich twice a week was $520 a year she couldn't spend. People called her disciplined. She called it suffocating. Her take-home after taxes was $1,872 a month. Rent in her one-bedroom apartment was $750. Utilities averaged $140. Her car insurance was $98. Groceries, she kept to $180 by shopping exclusively from a handwritten list and buying marked-down produce on Sunday mornings. That left her approximately $704 for everything else. Her minimum payments alone totaled $610. $94. That was her margin for error every month. There were months with no margin at all. Her car registration came due in October of her first year, $147. She didn't have it. She called her cousin, who lent her the money, and she paid it back over 4 months in cash, in person, with a handwritten note because she was too ashamed to Venmo it. She didn't want a record. She didn't want anyone seeing the amounts and asking questions she couldn't answer without crying. The credit card debt was the cruelest part. She had $34,000 spread across 3 cards with interest rates between 19.9% and 24.7%. She was paying hundreds of dollars a month and watching the principal barely move. One month, she paid $210 to a card and the balance dropped by $11. 11. She stared at that statement for so long the screen went dark. She stopped opening her mail for a while. Not all of it. Bills she paid, she still opened. But the statements from the private loan servicer, the ones with the big red headers, she'd pull them from the mailbox, walk directly to her kitchen, and put them face down on the counter. She'd leave them there until the guilt outweighed the dread, which was usually 3 or 4 days, sometimes a week. She gained weight that second year. Not dramatically, just quietly, the way stress settles into your body when you carry it long enough. She stopped calling friends as often, not because she didn't want to, because every conversation eventually circled to plans, vacations, brunches, concerts, and she couldn't say yes to any of them. It was easier to be unavailable than to be the person who always says no. The shift didn't come from a podcast. It didn't come from a book someone recommended. It came from a breakdown in the break room. It was a Thursday in February. The store's heating system was running too hot, and the air smelled like old carpet and someone's microwaved soup. Renata was on her lunch break, staring at a text from her student loan servicer about a missed payment. She'd been 3 days late, just 3, and a coworker named Desiree sat down across from her and said, without any preamble, "You look like you haven't slept in a month." Renata didn't mean to say what she said next, but she told her. All of it. The number. The bathroom floor. The $11 principal drop. Desiree listened without flinching, then said quietly, "My brother paid off $80,000 in 4 years. He can talk to you if you want." Desiree's brother was not a financial advisor. He was a warehouse supervisor in Canton who had gone through a divorce that nearly wiped him out financially. He had a notebook he'd kept during his payoff journey, handwritten, color-coded, years of it, and he sat at Renata's kitchen table one Saturday afternoon and showed it to her. He didn't tell her what to do. He just showed her what was possible. That Saturday changed something. Not her income, not her debt total, not a single number on any statement, but her orientation. She stopped facing away from the problem and turned directly into it. She called her private loan servicer on Monday and negotiated a temporary lower payment. She applied for a balance transfer card. She'd been afraid to even try, and moved $8,400 from her highest interest card to a 0% introductory rate. She picked up a part-time weekend shift at a grocery warehouse doing inventory. It paid $16.50 an hour, and it was exhausting and unglamorous, and she did not miss a single Saturday for 14 months. She built a payoff ladder. Smallest balance first. Every extra dollar she generated, a returned item, a birthday 20 from her aunt, a $90 cashback reward she almost let expire, went directly to debt. Not food, not savings. Beyond a $1,000 emergency fund she kept locked in a separate account she nicknamed the wall. Just debt, over and over, relentlessly, every single month. She stopped measuring her life in what she was missing. She started measuring it in payoff milestones. When she cleared her first credit card, $6,200, she sat in her car in a parking garage and cried for 4 full minutes. Then she drove home and transferred the freed-up minimum payment straight to the next balance. It took 4 years and 7 months. Renata Osei made her final payment on a gray Wednesday morning in March, at age 36, from her phone, standing in her kitchen in socks. The amount was $304.17. She hit confirm and watched the balance change to 0 and felt something she hadn't felt in so long she'd almost forgotten it was available to her. She is still in Akron. She still works at the same department store, but she's a floor manager now, making $23 an hour. She picked up a freelance social media management client last year that brings in an additional $600 a month. She has a savings account with $4,200 in it, growing slowly, deliberately, on purpose. She does not drive a new car. She does not take luxury vacations. But last August, she went to a concert with Desiree and bought a ticket. A real ticket, not a cheap one, without checking her bank account first. Just bought it. It cost $68. And she didn't feel a thing except happy. The notebook Desiree's brother lent her still sits on her nightstand. She's never returned it. She's filling in the blank pages in the back. Renata didn't have a windfall. She didn't get a raise that saved her. She had $16 an hour, a borrowed notebook, and a coworker who noticed she looked tired. If you're sitting on your own number right now, whatever it is, drop it in the comments. Not for judgment, just to say it out loud, maybe for the first time. Because this channel exists for exactly that moment. Subscribe, and we'll be here every week with another story that proves the number is not the end of the story.